This looks really nice right here. We'll call this meeting to order. The agenda today is we'll have the Pledge of the United States and then the pledge to the Texas flag. Mr. Rice, would you lead the pledge to the Texas flag? And Vincent, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Oh, we forgot the invocation. Please stay standing. Sorry. Father, thank you for this day and for the many blessings of life that you give us. I pray, Father, for some rain, and I thank you for just the keeping people safe in this area. I ask for your blessing on those who's had hardships, and there have been many in Texas. Lord, watch over this committee, this board, be with our administration, and help us to be aware of the leadership of the Holy Spirit. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Public comments on any item on the agenda. This is the least amount of people in a long time.
It's a short agenda.
Okay. All right, if there's no public comments, we'll have the,
They're at the library.
do we need to wait for them? They can't talk about business. Okay. We're going to receive a report and hold a discussion and take action on approving the minutes from the annual meeting held on February 26. Charlotte.
Did y'all get to review them all? I know we had one issue with the packet attached to this.
Yes. You got the floor.
That's great. Oh, I'm just making sure y'all got to review them.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2 on the agenda, BR 25-04. This is the
Tabled item.
This is the tabled item from our last meeting. And Troy, why don't you give us a recap of why this was tabled?
At the time, we were considering the difference in rates that we were proposing at that time, and we wanted to give us additional time to see how that revenue was recognized and what our expense stream was. Acknowledging at the same time we have a very large grant project going on that is not funded by the district but is grant funded. So all those things taken into consideration, we tabled this for later discussion. As a result, we have continued to see, as predicted, the revenues, given the new rates that we proposed in that meeting, come through as of June, and that is going on as predicted. So we are continuing to propose a sustained budget as presented in the one table that's included in your package of about 1.1 million in wireless revenue and 2.2 million in wireline revenue. Our current fiscal year, we're on track to attaining those or near those targets, and we believe so in the coming year. This also sustains the budget for the most part in the same expense stream with regard to dispatch reimbursement and staff reimbursement and professional services that have been engaged. That sustainment allows us to continue to recognize the revenue and the expenses that net out to approximately a net zero effect to the fund balance. And until we choose to change either the expenses or we see a different trend in revenue, this is the rates at $1.85 and $16 for business that we would need to continue to be a net zero impact to the fund balance. And that's projected through the budget that's presented in the table, where at the bottom, we would sustain an approximate fund balance of about almost 3.5 million as a result. So, any questions?
And Mr. Bush, I would suggest that you entertain a motion to untable, and just a motion to untable and a voice vote.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's off the table. Questions for Mr. Swanson?
Troy, I believe at the last meeting, we were talking about meeting with the county judge and possibly someone with the police department or the city and about subsidizing salaries, and did that take place? And
Yes, through the chair, Ms. Pope. Yes, those meetings did occur. We ended up with consensus on sustaining the current rate model and the expenses and the reimbursement of dispatches in particular, to have not have an additional effect to those agencies' budgets. And the discussion items usually revolved around entertaining that again for the 2027 budget year, fiscal year. So in this coming year, before the February meeting where we would represent the new budget for 27, we would have additional meetings to talk about that effect for the fiscal year 27 for those involved. So we did reach consensus with all those agencies and entities that you spoke of
temporarily, I guess.
for this time being.
All right, thank you.
Who did you speak with from the city?
We've spoken to Mr. Hanna prior to his departure, and more recently, we have spoken with the new city manager, Emily Crawford.
And you spoke with the county judge?
Yeah, we went over for a commissioners meeting in addition.
So out of the so we give 1.4, almost 1.5 to the dispatchers for the city of Abilene. How much do we give the county?
Right underneath that, the line 727.
27.
727?
Yeah, $727,075.
Okay.
So Charlotte, to back that up, how many dispatchers are in each of those entities?
38 for the city and 18 for the sheriff's office. Those are FTE, just budgeted FTEs. I mean, granted, they're not all filled, but
Right.
budgeted.
But
ones.
they both dispatches get that money no matter what.
Correct. It's actually dispersed as a 1/12 disbursement each month, and in the case of the county, we actually encumber those funds and disperse that as part of a purchasing type payment for their program. So it's dispersed 1/12 at a time.
That's with the current staffing that they have now?
It's an agreed upon value for dispatch program, so it's not a reimbursement for an expense. It's actually a budgeted line item that we expend or pay to those entities as a 1/12 payment of the total sum, regardless of their program costs.
I understand that. And so, I guess what I'm saying is, this won't go up.
No, and I would characterize it as similar to some of the city expenses, something we can negotiate with each of the our agencies.
But it won't go up.
Nope.
So if we stick with this through 2026, and you say the consensus was with the city and county that we want to go through 2027, it would be these numbers.
That's what we would negotiate to, correct?
What's that do to y'all?
To be honest, I'm not educated enough to say on my part. I can't speak for.
On the finance side.
No, we don't handle the finance side, I'm sorry.
Well, isn't this fairly consistent with what we've been doing? So there's probably not that much effect this year or 26.
That would be correct. So in the city and the county, and the city we know for sure, and the county, we understand that this is correct, is that it's part of their budget process, and they use this as an allocation that's paid to that entity for that program, and they include it as a subsidy to that labor expense in those areas. And so they've already programmed it into their 26 budget as part of their budget cycle process. If we were to negotiate something different for 2027, preferably down, they would have to determine how to fund that we have stopped funding through their own tax revenue or otherwise, to replace those funds that they miss from us.
So if we leave these two costs the same, how else are we going to lower our rates?
These are the two largest controllable costs. Second and third is the IT staff component that's just above the two gray lines that says 200,000. So that would be reducing our contribution to staffing this program. Next would be the professional services that we use for 911 addressing, and that's done by a contractor currently. And we've actually been able to negotiate that down. In 2025 fiscal year, we were at 451. And in 26, we're proposing 350,000. So we're coming down by about 100,000 on that expense.
There's some other line items that are coming down, it looks like, as a result of that. Isn't that?
Correct. That is the other, it's not a controllable cost. It's the reoccurring cost for some of the technology programs. And as we shift to EZNet, we are leaving behind some of the legacy telco solutions that had a higher expense and enjoying a savings as we move forward with the new technology that's all fiber and digital based. So we are trying to recognize those savings in this proposed 2026 budget as well.
Troy, are we still one of the only districts that subsidize dispatchers?
To our knowledge, that has not changed, and we're one of three. And the two others are quite a bit smaller programs, so they're not nearly close to the rates that we are, but we are definitely an outlier.
And I think that can be spun either way. When I say spun, I don't mean, but I think you can look at that two different ways. I mean, one is it's a benefit to the community, and it takes away taxpayer. It's all taxpayer money anyway. It's just which tax is paying it.
Which pocket it comes from.
Yes, which pocket it comes from. And, you know, and I know as they negotiate with city and county leaders, it's gonna be tooth and nail to get them to give that up. Especially after everybody's been so spoiled so long. And that's basically what it boiled down to, because Vincent, you remember, and when you first came on, and Tommy, you also, that 911 was usually a little pool of money that people could reach in and get a lot of different things. I think we've come to a realization over the past 3 years, too, especially that we're going to have to make some pretty strong decisions on rates and funding. Rates being high affects more than just an individual. It affects our businesses and so on and so forth. And so I'm not smart enough to understand exactly the detriment that a higher rate is to different groups. But I do know that nobody likes higher taxes. But I also know that I enjoy that our dispatches are taken care of, especially in the profession that I'm in, so. That's what I think. Anybody else got any questions for Mr. Swanson?
I just want to mention, Sheriff Bishop had approached me regarding the budget at one point and wanted to ensure that when it came to matters of the budget, that he was approached versus the county judge, because he's made it appear to me that dispatch existed separate under his own, it was part of his, right underneath his, I guess, leadership, that his dispatch existed separately from the rest of the county. I don't know if that's true or not, but I assume that's what it is, since he told me that. But just want to ensure that I'm not sure we all knew that or not, but he wanted to make sure during the last meeting that it seemed to him that we weren't following or consulting him when creating this budget in any way. So I just want to make sure that we do. Have we reached out to him when working with this budget?
I've spoken with him, and it is partially correct. He has his own department and his own expense and manages that budget for that area. But much like the city, that department answers to the judge as well. So the judge and the commissioners is actually the final stop, and that's where the true budget negotiation occurs for this reimbursement.
The board and the Commissioners Court controls the money.
So it is partially true. He does have a significant say in the expenses and the
Well,
the,
and I
budget
think it's a
for
good
the
idea
partnership.
to consult with him, just like it'd be
Yep.
important to consult with the police chief over his dispatch.
That I would agree with.
Any more questions, thoughts? So on this, we need to entertain a motion to what? Accept or approve the proposed FY 2026 budget.
It needs approval. It's an action item.
Or to disprove it.
Troy, in your opinion, the rate change will be sufficient to carry through the 26 budget?
Yeah, from what, yes, sir, the current revenue received is meeting expectations and continues to trend as we expected. And we expect that to continue through the next approximately 15 months that this period would cover. The remainder of this fiscal year and into the 12 months of the next fiscal year will sustain basically a net zero effect to the fund balance, which means expenses and revenues net out.
Make a motion to untable the tabled budget from last meeting.
If we did that one.
Oh, I apologize.
That's okay. Do you want to make a motion to?
I will. I'll make a motion to accept the 26 budget going forward.
All right. We have a motion to approve, as presented in our last meeting, the 2026 budget. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. BIM 25-04. This is an informational memorandum. We're going to receive a report about the www.atc911district.org website. And I think we're going to hear from, I thought we were going to hear from Charlotte, but we're going to hear from Troy.
And I'm going to pass it along to Charlotte.
So I wanted to make sure that it's known. This is also where we are referencing any citizens, because we get tons and tons of address requests. The main point of it is to, just kind of give information about board members, our district, how we operate, and mainly for that address request form, because that is where we are having them, we're directing them now. All of our forms and everything have changed from city or county's website to now just the district's website for address. It has our rates on there. There's that same letter that we send to telcos. We publicize it for citizens to see, you know, the rate isn't made up and stuff like that. So it's all on there. It is still a work in progress. I still got, you know, a little bit of tweaking to do, but it's for the citizens, and I'm greatly appreciate it just kind of being advertised.
Who are you working with at the county? For,
Tamara and Cheryl.
okay, and that's for all the unincorporated areas, for their 911 district, addressing.
So that is probably up for debate. We are the addressing authority, our board. However, we are going to go into, I would like to chat with Cheryl and, or I guess Tamara probably more, regarding how, so there hasn't been any, you know, they have not joined in any meetings, any of the other municipalities in the last few years. So I am going to chat with them, you know, and find out who the contacts are there at the municipalities, and, you know, if there's any other thing that we need to be pointing out on there, because we are going to post some address standards out there for, that way there's no question about what it takes to get an address here in Abilene or Taylor County.
So how's it happening right now? Somebody calls up Taylor County and says, I need an address for blank and blank County Road 150, which is way out in the county. What happens?
So they go to our website, fill out the form. We go, if they have sent in the correct documents, which are gonna be the coordinates and the deed to show proof of ownership, we contact the county, Tamara and Cheryl, and it's really Cheryl that's doing the approval on those, but that's gonna include Ty, Merkel, and they have to reply within the email thread just saying that address is permitted or address is not permitted. If it's not permitted, they let them know what they need to do. If it is permitted, then we just move forward with actually dropping the address point and assigning it in the database.
So, am I correct in assuming that every 911 address from now on will have to come through this website?
Yes. It's still posted on the counties and on the cities, but we're just trying to get them to come here for all informational purposes. Plus, it keeps all the traffic in one centralized area, and it's not pointing to the city or the county. It's just pointing to the middleman, where it's all handled, the official addressing authority.
So Charlotte, my understanding also is that this isn't the only way y'all communicate. You do allow people to walk in, to have face-to-face meetings. You do actually talk with people on the telephone. It's not just very impersonal where they fill out a form and then they wait for an answer. Is that correct?
That is very correct. I deal with a lot of walk-ins and a lot of phone calls. But yes, we do. And if they walk in, or, you know, depending on if they need assistance with what, I submit the form for them. And I just have them directly email, or if I need to talk to their younger grandchildren to help get the coordinates so that those are correct. But yes, there's a lot of very personal communication I still have with the public.
So what does the workload look like as far as addressing? How many requests did we get last year? How are we doing this year?
Well, for 2024 is right around 1,100. Right now, we are going to be surpassing that, not by double, but by a third. Right now, we're about at almost 1,000 right now, and we had 1,100 total last year, which was a super big increase from the year before that. That was 800 and something. So yeah, it's growing significantly, the county, or all of Abilene, Taylor County. So it's quite a busy workload, and I don't actually directly assign the address points. That's my GIS pros that do that, or the addressing text that do that part of it.
Thank you.
So once the address comes to here or to you, then what happens to it?
Once the request comes, and they pass everything, we assign it in the database for our local one, which is going to be how Postal, FedEx. Now, we don't contact FedEx or any of them, but we do contact Postal Service, just letting them know this is an official valid address. We submit a form verifying with a picture of the actual parcel, whatever it may be on there. With the address point, we submit that to the customer, or the citizen customer, and they can use that as an official for utilities, Taylor, anything like that, but it's an official address in the database.
So where do the contract services come in?
Oh, contracts are our
JJ and Phil.
yes.
So an address is entered,
That is, okay, so our contractors are doing all of that. So I assist in putting them in, but I'm still doing administration of the board more so. They're actually doing all of the addressing, which keeps them,
Our contractors are
our
doing,
contractors, yes.
the ones that we're paying,
The ones that we're paying, yes,
350 grand for next year.
for next year. And that's pretty much three full-time, I mean, because they're dedicated to us about 40 hours a week, sometimes a little more. And we're in constant contact. We're in a chat session at all times, but that is,
So in
just.
2025, they got how much, the contractors?
I believe it said 450, didn't it?
450
We're not at that
approximately.
yet.
And in 2024, they did 1,100.
Correct.
New addresses, you mean?
So how much is that per address? I don't know,
Oh, I don't have any idea.
but
Calculate.
you get my point.
Right.
Yes.
And is that the most efficient use of that?
For us, it does appear to be an efficient use of services. We do constantly weigh the difference between employing somebody versus a vendor, and they're coming out at a rate and an efficiency that far exceeds what we can do with employees. And also given the caveat that we have not been able to solicit and employ that type of skill within the city.
We're still having trouble with that?
It is limited for GIS.
The comment on that particular part of the IT industry as an employee workforce is that is a very niche skill area that has enjoyed basically a remote work situation across the industry. So getting somebody to be an employee of Abilene, the city, and move to Abilene where they have competition at far exceeding our salary rates for remote work, a lot basically doesn't have us in a position to employ somebody.
So it costs the board, or it's $363.63 per address.
Predicated on 1,100 addresses? Okay.
We get down to $350,000, and we go up. I think we're headed the right direction. Because $363.63 per address is a lot.
It is.
It's a lot.
It's approximately 3 hours of labor from the vendor.
Per address? 300?
Address.
Wow.
And no cost to the citizen for the address. It's free to the citizen.
But truth be known, it isn't a 5-minute exercise either. 3
No.
hours is not unreasonable either, because they do have to go through a lot of tasks or subtasks to accomplish the addressing of a parcel.
Are their charges predicated on the number of new addresses that they work, or is it just a straight line?
It's just an hour.
Time and materials. It's
Yeah,
a
time and materials.
reimbursement of payroll, basically, time.
Okay.
Well, that'll have to be for another day.
Well, I think it's I think it's within the agenda item, so.
But I
yeah.
think you've done a fantastic job on this website.
Thank you very much. And we're also going to post some local maps out there as well, but we do also do mapping, for, mainly for the county, but we also have other map requests and stuff like that. And that does actually take a little bit of time as well. And I do assist with those.
Yeah, the more communication you can do with Merkel, Ty, Tuscola, Lawn, those entities, just so that they have the information that they can pass on to their people who, when they get asked about it, that's why I would want to know, because I'll get asked about this, and then I can say, go to this website,
Yes,
and I think that's great.
yes.
Yeah.
And I would love to have their specifics. I mean, I'll put them out there just like I'm going to put, more.
You need some contact information for those entities, just let me know, and we'll make sure you have all that.
Perfect.
Any other comments on the district administration's www.atc911district.org?
Charlotte, are you the webmaster for this website?
Yes, I am.
And who helps you with this?
No one.
No one,
No,
okay.
It is just my site. Yeah, and it's on a completely different, it's on its own domain as well. It's not on the cities, it's not on the counties, it's on its own.
Okay, thank you.
What'd you have to pay to get your picture?
I didn't know my picture was on it.
It is. Y'all are in the background, but I wanted to actually take individual pictures, if y'all are okay with that, to actually, put a little history with y'all. If you're not comfortable, it's completely your own.
My picture's on this?
Hey,
Just
picture.
y'all's board picture from y'all all sitting in a board meeting.
Oh, my God.
And y'all are all looking down, but that's the only picture I had for the moment. I just took a screenshot of the last meeting.
Just leave mine like that.
No.
Wise.
I don't like being out there. All right. So can I get a motion to acknowledge the district website if there's no more questions?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of acknowledging this district website, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll go on to the last agenda item. It's the Next Generation 911 and SCNet project update. We're going to receive a report, and then we can discuss and acknowledge the updates from Mr. Troy Swanson.
Well, I would like to present that we are making significant progress on the project, and I would like to turn it over to Charla to really go through some of the details. And it's another opportunity for her to really take credit. I would love to see that she receives the credit deserved for how well this has been run and how well we're doing.
You gonna give her a raise?
We'll see about that.
That's what I was thinking. Took the words right out of my mouth. So we did finally get a project manager assigned, and so every other week we have meetings, and I guess I've had, no, I guess I've had 4 with them, but we have actually brought in our other staff, so there will be separate portals for training for our GIS to make sure all of our authoritative data is what's uploaded into the system, but we also have the PSAP side, which is gonna, we got the 2 experts here that run the PSAPs that are also involved in the meeting, that they'll actually do some training for their part of the portal, the provisioning of, and it'll probably be a little bit minimal on y'all's part, but they will do it, and they are in the meetings as well. So it's moving right along. We do not exactly have a go-live date yet, but it's still progressing, and that's strictly just because we haven't set it yet. Having 2 separate, making sure everything is done for Sheriff's Office and everything's done for PD, it's a little bit strings tied. I mean, and the EOC has to be also, everything has to be connected, there had to be equipment for it and stuff. So almost all the equipment has been installed, the circuits are ready, but we still have a few more steps before we actually move to that. But I'm hoping that go live will be by end of October, probably
So-
before.
The GIS part of it, is that through this group that y'all contracted with?
This is strictly through our vendor, their portal, their website, to make sure that so with it being a new network, it's a network of networks where we can communicate with other PSAPs. So we want to make sure our GIS data is in the correct format, which is the NINA I3, and we got to make sure it's our authoritative data. So they'll have to log into a portal and make updates,
Who makes
scheduled.
sure that GIS data is accurate?
Oh, we do.
Okay.
We have a checks and balances system either, and I also assist them with that. I mean, it's them 3, but I also assist with that. And we actually have a second step that will require an approval in that portal to make sure that that's the correct data and that's in the correct format before it goes out live to the PSAPs and stuff.
And what are the few other things that's gotta get done
For the GIS, for the
for
portal?
the SCNet?
It's really just kind of waiting around on our vendors. So, we have the recording equipment, like at both of the PSAPs that do all the call recording. For the call handling system, we got to get those vendors involved to make sure, it's all the configuration is correct for the SCNet into their systems as well. We got to have and when we go live, it's going to be like in a 3-stage, and we will have our vendor, our main one, AT&T, on staff for at least 2 full days, no break in it, to make sure that we will not turn off any old legacy until we have.
So there's no break in service?
Oh, no. No. We'll have like a triple verification for a couple of full days, and we'll do separate for Taylor County, And then we'll do separate and then at Taylor County, we'll do like 2 consoles before we move 2 more. It's all in a few steps, so it is kind of a tedious process to do it, but we want to make sure that nothing's down.
Y'all have any questions that you'd like to ask about this new process?
I'm kind of waiting to see how it goes with the training, but I don't know what to ask at this point.
My first meeting was last week that I was in on, and I've developed a couple of questions just in regards to things like rapid SOS, but it's all questions I'll have tomorrow in our meeting.
Okay. And we're gonna make, this is not me chastising you in any way, but we're gonna make absolutely sure all those questions are answered.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. 100%.
Any other questions from the board?
One quick one, if you don't mind, Shayla. What, from my point of view and a volunteer firefighter's point of view, what sort of a change will we see or will we hear when we're toned out for an emergency?
So really, y'all probably won't notice much of, because it's more probably backside configurations. Y'all will still be dispatched just the same. So that part won't change any. The screens that they're looking at are gonna change a little bit, but other than that, it won't affect y'all drastically like that. And then, of course, so there's a bit of a change on the ESZs a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure what it's gonna be. We've only done 1 GIS training, so I'm not 100% sure exactly what it's gonna look like. Those numbers will change a little bit, but y'all wouldn't be affected. Like, y'all wouldn't even, I mean, we'll notify y'all of whatever the changes are, but it'll mainly come through dispatch.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll notify y'all for sure of all of that. And once I actually get a little more, because I'm training on both sides, the GIS and the PSAP, I'll know kind of both sides of it and what it's gonna look like, and I'll be able to answer a lot more questions once I actually can see a portal live. But I haven't got to I haven't got to log in and see any of the portals live yet.
You know, currently, most of the volunteer fire departments here use a program called Who's Responding that brings everything up on our phones with maps, which shows pictures of the county road turns and so forth. I'm assuming all that will stay, this will handshake and interface with that
Yes.
program as well?
We will make sure that it does. That's a program that we purchased for y'all as well. So I do have like the contacts for it, but they will also be brought in just to make sure that part, because I would imagine that it would change, but I'm not 100% sure just yet. Like I said, I haven't got to see all of it yet and how it actually works, but I'll make sure, and I'm glad you actually said that. I'll actually make a note of that to make sure that their software is brought in with our configurations as well.
Okay, terrific.
A good one.
Charlotte, has this transition been affected at all by the city's breach of cyber security?
No, not this process.
No,
They-
the closest we got to an effect was we lost some of the GIS capability, but in regards to 911 addressing, that was all done for the most part in the cloud, so it was not adversely affected in particular. So we've been able to sustain all of the 911 addressing, 911 function, 911 district business throughout this process, or throughout this event.
So the emergency services, we're on a separate network, even from the county and the city, which is what is our saving grace. And going forward after this experience, I will make sure that there is never a combination, ever, 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 ever. That way, if anything ever happens, we have failover systems as well. If we're affected by a mass tragedy or something, it's a failover system, but we'll never be connected to city or county.
There were adverse effects inside of the city function, so we did lose for a short period the computer-aided dispatch system, for example.
Yeah.
And so there were function problems there, and we're still bringing some of those pieces back up to speed. So there were internal city functions that were affected.
But it didn't affect this transition to.
The ESI project, no.
No, we were gonna, not really discuss that when we got the project manager, but it turns out that kind of went, national news. So, yeah, so they already knew about it and everything but yeah, so they weren't, it didn't slow down their business with us, and it hadn't slowed down the progress at all. I will be excited when it's finished. And that go live is effective. By the end of the year, we should be all good and cleared out with any little tweaks in it that we need to do. But
Well, you've made this less painful than I thought it was gonna be, so thank you.
you're very welcome. I've probably eaten a lot of pain in myself. That's okay, though. We're not talking about me. No, it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to learn. It's a bit overwhelming at times, but It's all good. Once we get there, I'll just be able to look back and,
I just want to make sure that these guys are very comfortable with everything that's coming up and they understand.
I assured them both when I was telling them about the training that I needed them, but I did assure them, it's like, no, I promise, there will be training for y'all for whatever, and there will be, they hadn't set up that side of it yet, but that will move forward.
All right, any other questions from the board? So, I don't think we need to vote on anything here, do we? We just want to thank you and praise you. Is that what you said you want us
Yes.
to do?
She has done an awesome job, if you can't tell.
Well, she better.
I enjoy it.
But thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right. I don't think I can ask if there's anything else we need to discuss because it's not on the agenda and I got chastised for that last time. So, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Got a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.